I invited 97 people to my baby shower. Not one showed up, they were all at my sister's finally 21 party. When my mom sent me the livestream, I made one quiet move that ended the night. My blood ran cold, a chill deeper than the freezing air outside that community hall. I was standing amidst deflating balloons and forgotten cupcakes, when my phone buzzed, showing me the betrayal unfold live, my family, laughing and toasting the golden child, while my own heart shattered into a million pieces. I was the host of my own baby shower, though in hindsight, I was more like a pathetic placeholder. I'd gone all out, just like my mom insisted, don't be boring. Do it right. So, I rented this dingy community hall, the kind with ancient, squeaky chairs and banners from the last decade. I ordered custom It's a Boy cupcakes, even though I didn't want a gender reveal. My sister, the queen of elegant whimsy, even designed these gorgeous, glossy invitations, all 97 of them, with little gold stars and a baby in a top hat. "You're welcome," she'd chirped. Yeah, well, here's the kicker, not a single soul showed up. Not one. By 3:30 that afternoon, I was staring at 48 empty chairs, 14 untouched gift bags, and 3 dozen egg salad sandwiches that were starting to curl at the edges. My only company? A single, bland text from my cousin Rachel, "So sorry, stuck in traffic. Hope it's beautiful." Then I checked Instagram. My heart actually skipped a beat, then plummeted. At 3:41 p.m., Rachel, my stuck-in-traffic cousin, posted a boomerang, champagne glasses clinking against a sunset rooftop. And right there, center stage, was my sister, glittering dress, pink heels, throwing peace signs next to a balloon arch that screamed "Finally 21." Just 6 minutes later, my mom, bless her heart, sent me a live stream link. "So you don't miss her big moment," the subject line read. I clicked it. It was a shaky, vertical video of my sister, fake crying, while some guy murdered "Happy Birthday" on a guitar. She was holding a martini glass-shaped cake. And then I heard my uncle's voice, loud and clear, to the golden child. The one who actually made us proud. He really hammered that actually. I just stared at my phone. No screaming. No throwing things. I just stood there, surrounded by a deflating welcome baby banner and a tray of untouched mini quiches, feeling nothing. Or maybe everything, all at once, freezing me solid. My fingers moved on autopilot. I opened my banking app. Frozen. The family fund, completely locked down. Next, I pulled my name from my sister's lease. Just like that. Done. By 6:03 p.m., my phone was a buzzing inferno, 53 missed calls. My mom. My dad. Rachel. Even Steve, my cousin, who once stole my charger and claimed it was communal property. The last text I saw was from my sister, "You ruined her night." My reply? Sharp, calm, deadly. "You streamed it to me. I participated. And if you're going to skip my baby shower to toast her 21st like it's the freaking Oscars, you better Venmo me for those chairs." I knew they wouldn't. They never did. Oh, you want to talk numbers? Let's talk numbers. For 3 years, I'd been their personal ATM, their human direct deposit, sending $2,000 a month to the family fund. It started small, innocent enough, but it morphed into this automatic, insidious subscription to dysfunction. They never asked for help, they demanded it, cloaked in casual remarks like, "You're the responsible one. You don't have a family yet, so you've got the flexibility." Flexibility, what a quaint word for being their financial spinal cord. My sister's rent? $1,200 a month for 14 months straight, $16,800 for an apartment I'd never even stepped foot in a city she supposedly hated, next to a guy named Kyle who once asked if I'd worked in IT or just looked like it. Her tuition? $6,042 for 1 semester, just until her financial aid kicks in. It never did. And neither did a single word of gratitude. Dad's emergency tires? $890, because he drove to Arizona for a fishing trip and accidentally left his wallet at home. Mom's leaky roof? $3,400. I asked for a photo of the leak. She sent me a screenshot of the weather app, saying, "Look. It's raining." And then there was the 2010 Honda, still barely kicking, that I just gave my sister because her mental health couldn't handle the bus anymore. A thank you? Nope. Just a follow-up request for Bluetooth speakers so she could vibe in silence. The nerve! I gave and I gave again. Not once did anyone ask, "Are you okay? Do you have enough for yourself? How's the pregnancy going?" Instead, I heard gems like, "Well, it's not like you're saving for a wedding." Or, "You're lucky you're not dealing with kids." And my personal favorite, my friend's daughter got $10,000 from her brother. You're honestly kind of frugal. Frugal. I covered their Netflix, their dental bills, their impulse air fryers, and they called me frugal. You want more numbers? My baby shower decorations, $217. The banner, the balloons, the custom pacifier cookies. My mom, the same woman who paid for LED lights for my sister's rooftop bash, had the audacity to say, "Those are kind of extra, don't you think?" And the invitations? $94.38 for 97 pieces of cardstock. 96 more than I needed, considering nobody showed up. Actually, I lied. Someone did show up. The caterer. He walked in, took one look at the sea of empty chairs, blinked twice, and asked, "Is this a setup? Am I being filmed? Like a prank show?" I just deadpanned, "No, just a normal family event." He nodded slowly. "Yikes," he muttered. And then, this complete stranger, this man who made sliders and coleslaw for ghosts, he stayed. An hour longer than he needed to. He sat with me, ate one of my untouched sandwiches, and quietly said, "You deserve better." Then he packed up his van and left. He was the only one who stayed. The only one. So there I sat, phone buzzing incessantly with rooftop selfies and happy birthday reels, and I did something that felt almost surgical. I opened every single receipt. Folder by folder. Screenshots, bank statements, Venmo confirmations. I wasn't angry anymore. I was methodical. This was it. The exact moment the switch flipped. I stopped being the generous sibling and became the quiet one with a spreadsheet. See, they never understood. They thought when I paid their bills, it meant they were smarter, that they had support, that I was just doing my part. But I wasn't just paying bills. I was buying silence. I was buying a seat at a family table they never truly offered me. And now I didn't care what table they sat at. I just turned off the lights. It really hit me, though, around minute 43 of that livestream. I wasn't watching because I cared about her turning 21, she'd been partying since high school. No, I watched because I needed to see what I'd been replaced by. At 3:47 p.m., Mom sent the link, "So you don't miss her big moment," it crowed. There she was, on a rooftop I paid for, holding a cocktail I paid for, surrounded by people I'd fed, housed, and covered for, all laughing as if I simply ceased to exist. 10 minutes in, Uncle raised his glass to the golden child, the one who actually made us proud. That emphasis on actually stung, but I didn't flinch. Didn't even blink. I just quietly moved $4,200 from the family emergency account into my personal savings. At 4:21 p.m., my name was off my sister's lease. At 4:35, I deleted the family budget shared Google Doc, a document I created 2 years ago, that Dad never even opened. At 5:12, I checked my baby shower RSVP tracker. One maybe, depending on traffic from a cousin who lived 6 blocks away. Then, at 5:38, the text came, "You ruined her night." My simple, cutting reply, "You mean my afternoon?" 5:44 p.m., silence. And then, at 6:03 p.m., the call started. 53 missed calls. My mom, my sister, Rachel, Dad, Uncle, Mom again, then a no-caller ID, probably Steve, using a burner phone like this was a heist. The last voicemail? Just heavy breathing, and a voice in the background whispering, "Can't believe he did this." They were mad at me. They truly couldn't believe I'd ruined her night. Let's just clarify what her night actually cost. $1,700 for the rooftop rental, paid directly from my account. I had the receipt. $980 for the open bar. I paid the deposit back in February. The custom finally 21 neon sign? $463. Guess whose credit card was saved on Etsy? And the Uber credits, $268, family code celebrate 21, all created and paid for by me. She just breezily asked, "Can I just use your card to set it up? I'll reimburse you." 2.5 months ago. She never did. And you know what I paid for on my big day? $12 cash only for parking across the street from the community center. For guests who never showed. By 7 p.m., I'd systematically severed every financial tie. The shared dental plan? Cancelled. Her gym membership, which I'd been covering since 2022. Gone. The Canva Pro subscription she swore she needed for work? History. Then, I logged into her student loan portal. Guess who was listed as the financial co-signer? Me. Guess who clicked remove authorization? Also me. You'd think that would be enough. It wasn't. Because at 7:31 p.m., I got a text from my sister, "My rent didn't go through. Did something happen with your bank?" My reply? Simple. Brutal. Yeah. It woke up. Silence from her end. At 8:14 p.m., my mother called again. I answered. No hello, no preamble. Just a verbal assault. "Do you realize what you've done?" She's devastated. Her birthday is ruined. People noticed you weren't there. They asked why. I waited. Then I said, "Tell them the truth." "What truth?" she sputtered. "Tell them I was hosting a baby shower and nobody came." A stunned silence. Then, the classic, "Don't make this about you." I actually smiled. I didn't, Mom. You did. She hung up. I thought it was over. But oh, it wasn't. 2 days later, a call from the leasing office. My name was still tied to my sister's apartment. She'd never signed the new paperwork. And she'd missed last month's rent. $1,200 plus an $85 late fee. But it got worse. The PDF they sent? Illuminating. She hadn't just missed rent. She'd set up all the utilities, water, electricity, Wi-Fi, all in my name, all unpaid for 2 billing cycles. They asked if I wanted to settle the balance. No, I said. Forward the debt to collections. Follow standard procedure. 5 hours later, a text from my sister, all caps, "Are you serious?" My answer? Yes. Her next text, "You're destroying my credit." My reply, "I'm matching the energy." Then came the group chat ambush. My mom, "We need to talk." My dad, "You're being dramatic." My aunt, "She's just a kid." My uncle, "You've always been intense." My sister, "This is financial pressure." One click. I left the group. Gone. By week's end, they tried one last move, a family intervention email. Subject, "Let's start fresh." It had a Google Meet link for Saturday at 11 a.m. I didn't join. Instead, at 11:02 a.m., I sent them a shared folder. Title, Financial Contributions 2021 to 2024. Inside? Every single payment I'd made, every bank statement, every Zelle confirmation. Every time they'd told me I was lucky to be childless. Every instance I was treated like a backup dancer in their family musical. No message. Just the cold, hard truth. Shared with all. 2 hours later, my dad called. "Is this how you want to go out?" he asked, his voice dripping with faux concern. "No," I replied, "I wanted a baby shower." Then I hung up. The calls began again, a frantic cascade. 5 from my sister, one after another. Then Mom. Then Dad. Even my wildcard Aunt Sandra, who hadn't spoken to me since 2019, when I refused to invest in her $90,000 Eco Crystal juice bar that needed a blessing from Mercury in retrograde. I ignored them all. At 11:30, a new email popped up. Are you trying to destroy us? My short answer, no. My long answer, I'm just done letting you destroy me. That afternoon, I pulled out my emergency-only envelope. Inside, my sister's student ID, her tuition invoice, and a signed form with my forged signature, declaring me her financial guarantor. I'd seen it 6 months ago and let it slide, hoping she'd just panicked, hoping she'd tell me. She didn't. Now, I logged into the university portal. Revoke authorization. Block card. Then, an email to the school, my government ID, samples of my real signature, and the forged document. This was not authorized. Please investigate. 2 hours later, their reply, understood. Matter under review. Pending resolution, you are no longer liable. At 6:22 p.m., my sister called. I picked up. What did you do? She shrieked. I took a bite of my sandwich. Fixed an error. You got me flagged for a financial issue. No, I said. You did. You said you'd support me. I said that 18 months ago, I countered, before you threw a rooftop party with my rent money. Silence. Then, the quiet part, said out loud, if they drop me, I'll have to move back home. Good, I said. Just, good. That was just day 1. Day 2 brought a voicemail from Mom. Her voice was shaking, not with sadness, but with pure, unadulterated performance. You've always been the mature one, the glue. Don't let bitterness ruin what we've built. What we've built? Lady, I built it. Brick by brick. Bill by bill. That night, I logged into Dad's pension portal. Guess who had the password? Me. Guess who'd been monitoring the payout delays? Also me. I forwarded him the entire email thread, highlighting one crucial sentence, final disbursement pending form submission by account holder. Translation, he never bothered to turn in the final paperwork. So, I stopped calling the representative on his behalf. Let him figure out his own retirement. Monday morning, 9:04 a.m. An unknown number. I picked up. Hi, this is Jenna from a local credit union. We're calling about the co-signed auto loan for a 2010 Honda. I revoked it, I stated. A pause. Understood. We'll update the account accordingly. I didn't even need to explain. My sister had defaulted. 2 months behind. The car I gave her as a gift now had my name tied to its debt. Not anymore. By Tuesday, their panic turned strategic. My mom texted, let's have dinner. Just us. No drama. Promise. She even added a heart emoji. I replied, sure, you pick the place. She chose the fancy Italian place by the lake, dim lights, overpriced ravioli. I arrived early, ordered sparkling water, reviewed my notes. At 6:07 p.m., they walked in. Not just Mom, but Dad too, looking like he was dressed for a court hearing. Mom was wearing the necklace I bought her 3 Christmases ago, the one she'd said wasn't her style and never wore. We sat. They smiled, made small talk about the weather, the news. Nothing real. Then Dad cleared his throat. We just want a reset, he said. I nodded. Let's do it. He actually relaxed. Too soon. Mom leaned in, saccharine sweet. You've always been so generous. We've leaned on you too much. That ends now, but just until we get through this month. Could you? I raised my hand, a silent signal, and opened a folder. Printed invoices. Mortgage, $3,400 a month. Utilities, $740 average. Streaming services, yes, all 6 of them, $112.94. My sister's Uber receipts, $683 in 1 month, with one ride clearly labeled rooftop arrival. I slid the stack across the table. Dad stared. What is this? He stammered. The last 12 months of my life, I said. Mom opened her mouth, but I slid a second folder. And here's the tuition breakdown, $18,126 total. Your daughter, by the way, called me financially abusive on Instagram. She also tagged Nike in the post. Silence. Just heavy, suffocating silence. Then I said it, softly, but with absolute finality, I'm done. They just sat there, waiting for the second act, the apology, the softening. It never came. I'm not angry, I added, I'm just finished. Dad let out a small, bitter laugh. The kind of laugh you make when you feel your own power slipping away. You think cutting us off makes you strong, he sneered. No, I said. It makes me free. We sat there, in that overpriced Italian restaurant, in deafening silence. For once, they couldn't spin it. Couldn't guilt me. Couldn't say I was too emotional or too cold. I was just done. Oh, and I organized something else, I said, gesturing towards the other tables. Mom's eyebrows shot up. Each table had a neatly labeled folder: uncle, aunt, cousin, sister, parents. Inside? A resume template, a list of local job openings, a printout of their most recent financial dependence on me, and a crisp note that simply read, "You're capable. Here's your chance to prove it." The only sound was the rustle of paper, the awkward turning of pages, as reality finally set in. Mom was the first to speak, a mortified whisper, "This is embarrassing." "No," I corrected her, my voice unwavering. "This is fair." She blinked, unable to compute a version of me that didn't flinch, didn't back down. Dad stood abruptly. "We're leaving." "Sure," I said, with a shrug. My sister stared at her folder like it was a weapon. "So, what now? You just vanish?" I shook my head. "No. I'm still here. I'm just not theirs anymore." That night, I crafted one last message. It went to the entire family group chat, the one they'd kicked me out of 3 weeks prior for being too negative. I rejoined. I typed exactly 11 words. "You said you're better off without me. Now prove it." Then, I left the chat. Blocked every single one of them. Phone, socials, gone. 3 hours later, Mom called from a landline. I let it ring. Then again. And again. The next day, an email from my dad. Subject: "You've made your point." Attached? A PDF of his pension paperwork, a screenshot of my sister's past due tuition notice. And a final line: "We hope you'll come back to your senses." My reply? One word. No. Then came the public meltdown phase. Cousins posting cryptic quotes about loyalty. My aunt tweeting gems like, "Money doesn't buy kindness." My uncle's Facebook post started with, "Some people forget where they come from." I didn't respond to a single word. But I saw everything. And I smiled. Because for once, they were the ones scrambling, trying to make sense of the silence. They wanted the long speech, the guilt trip, the dramatic backpedaling. I gave them none of it. Only stillness. Only boundaries. Only quiet. A week passed. Then another. No calls, no emails. I thought they'd finally given up. But then, a box appeared on my doorstep. No return address. Inside, a tiny baby onesie, a plush giraffe, and a card. We all said things we didn't mean. Let's start over. Love, Mom. The giraffe was cute. I put it on the shelf. The card? Straight into the trash. I thought that was the end. It absolutely wasn't. 3 days later, a letter arrived from a law firm, my family's name in the subject line. My parents were suing me. Not for money, but for emotional damages. They claimed my withdrawal of familial support had caused them distress, that my actions were intentionally harmful, that I had weaponized finances in a familial context. I read it 3 times. Then, for the first time in weeks, I laughed. A real, hearty laugh. They had nothing. They knew it. But they filed anyway, not to win, but to scare me, to drag me back into their orbit, to scream, "We still have control." Except, they didn't. Because attached to that letter was something they conveniently forgot about: the name of their attorney. He used to be my attorney. The same man who, 3 years ago, helped me draw up power of attorney documents when I was doing my estate planning after my miscarriage. A miscarriage that no one in my family ever even bothered to ask me about. Those same documents, which I'd sent to my parents, and which they signed, gave me legal documentation of every single transfer I made, every account I funded, every boundary they crossed. I called Carson. He picked up on the second ring. "This about the lawsuit?" he asked. "No," I said. "It's about closure." That week, I filed a counterclaim. I didn't want their money. I wanted the statement. They said I was cruel? I showed them the receipts. The media might not have heard about it, but the neighborhood certainly did. And for the first time in years, when people asked about me, they didn't say, "Oh, that's the one who helps everyone." They said, "He's the one who finally stopped." For so long, they saw me as a wallet with emotions. Now, they just have the emotions. And I have my son. And a peace, a profound silence, that demands absolutely nothing from me.